Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of ARK Survival Evolved on the PC. Today we continue our coverage of the amazing and massive ARK Update 257. Today, we're gonna be talking about the LIOPLEURODON. This thing, the magical being of the deep. I called it the beast of the deep before. It's really not a beast, because it's actually the most friendly thing in the seas. It's passive. If you attack it, it disappears. I will demonstrate that, but for now, I just did get him kind of pretty up on taming so I can show you what happens when you tame him and all that jazz. When it comes to the map, you are going to, at least as of now, the known locations of him are pretty much the northern shores of the of the snow biome. So pretty much between 20 and 0 latitude, up to about like 0 to 30 longitude, like 0 to 40 longitude, like pretty much the ice biome until you get to that first river on the right. In those waters is where you can find him. So here we do have him. When it comes to feeding him, you're going to need giant honey. For now, at least for this level 1, I fed him 3 giant honeys. I'm not sure if the taming speed on this game is multiplied or anything, or on this server is. It might be, but if it is, it's like 2 times or something. So come down here with some honey. However, you do have to be careful because the honey can go bad pretty quick. You got about 20 minutes, so make sure you're coming down here with at least something, maybe even like an ichthyosaur. Anything that can hold your honey for you while you try to tame this thing. So, the LIOPLEURODON, let's feed it the giant bee honey, and voila! We can name him, and you're like, oh my god, I'm excited, I can name my LIOPLEURODON, it's gonna be great. And you can ride him, I think, where are you going? There we go, we're riding him, and he looks all magical and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, life is amazing. But then, all the sharks start coming for you. Or at least, yeah, they were interested in us for a while. But, as you can see here, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. This is it. Taming time remaining. We got another Mystic Skin Oil. We get a very special power-up called Mystic Skin Oil. That's the only good thing about this. That's what I'm gonna say. So, like, taming it isn't the hardest thing in the world, especially a low level. The level of it really doesn't matter because it disappears in 30 minutes. So, really, you're not gonna be able to do a whole ton. It only eats honey, to my knowledge. Yeah, it only eats honey. Honey makes his food go up by about 100 or so I'm just giving him a couple, because I'm a good guy. I'm trying to feed my thing, you know? Trying to feed it, make sure it's happy, all that jazz. You can see, for level 1, it's got pretty okay health and stamina, so you'd be like, oh, it's a pretty solid tank. But then you realize its melee damage is booty cheeks, and booty cheeks is a nice way of putting, like, here's an ichthyosaur. Why don't we try attacking this thing, and let's see what ruckus we could stir. And like, it's real, like the turning radius on this thing is absolutely awful. It's not really the fastest thing. It's pretty okay though. But yeah, there we go. We got to kill a level 1 ichthyosaur. It only took God knows how many bites. Way too many. But yeah, the turn radius on this thing is, I mean, it's okay. Well, the turn radius is like kind of big. Turning speed's pretty okay, I guess. That's what I kind of meant. However, if we were to pit this thing against something more aggressive like a shark, I don't think we'd have a fun time doing that. But then we have that very special ability, the Mystic Skin Oil. So as you can see, if we hop off, we'll have the Mystic Skin Oil there. I'm feeling lucky, bub. Yeah, I am. I'm feeling quite lucky. And then, as long as we are on it, it says the taming time that remains, we get this Mystic Skin Oil buff. So what this is, it's pretty much a loot booster, where what happens is riding a LIOPLEURODON increases the rarity and value of any loot box you open. However, I think that only applies for underwater loot boxes, so it only works for deep sea loot crates and underwater beacons. This effect lasts 30 minutes, and then the LIOPLEURODON will disappear. So at the end of the taming time, he literally just vanishes into a puff of air. Through some testing, it has been shown that the loot box usually contains hide clothes, or loot boxes usually containing like hide clothes will contain like a rocket launcher during the loot buff. So the loot that you get is gonna be really good. So if you plan on looting underwater, which I've never really heard anyone plan of doing, but maybe that'll change now that this thing's out. This guy, you're gonna want to try to find yourself one of these before you go on that looting spree, especially like, I don't know, deep sea loot crates though. Those, oof, I feel like those could really contain some good stuff. But other than that, this is it. He doesn't appear to even get any XP. Yeah, he doesn't even get any passive XP. He's gonna be stuck at whatever level, or she in this case, is gonna be stuck at whatever level you get her at. You literally cannot do any other sort of tame on this, and I will show you why. Here you can see though, the LIOPLEURODON's getting attacked by sharks. He's not doing super hot, unfortunately. He's just like attacking and stuff, and I'm inside of another one. If we like punch the thing, literally, it will disappear. You cannot damage that thing, otherwise it goes over to fucking Mystic Mountain, right? And it disappears. And then here we have our LIOPLEURODON, who's not having a fun time. He does have a lot of natural predators in the world, and it's not very good. In terms of the damage he took quite a bit, actually. He took about 1,000 to those sharks, and he didn't do too much to them. But yeah, the LIOPLEURODONs are gonna have natural predators, and I think that even applies for a wild LIOPLEURODON. So you do have to be careful that while you're trying to tame one, you don't really attract any predators to it, because it doesn't have a lot of friends in the deep. I mean, sure, this thing is super chill, super magical. You can tell it's magical by the pixie dust around it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's could be better. I don't know. I mean, it's a temporary tame. It's like the shortest temporary tame out there. And when it comes down to it, if you're taming this thing to fight, I mean, it's not the hardest thing to tame. I will say that. If you can get into the deep, and also eventually, I think they do plan on wanting to make it. So I want to get a good view of this guy like above water here. They do plan on making it, right? Or at least they want to make it. So the LIOPLEURODON, look at how adorable. Look at his whisker, his single whisker there. Actually, that's really weird. I never realized that. And he just looks so much more vicious than he is, or she does. And her eyes kind of remind me of like an alligator with how yellow they are, or a crocodile, or whatever. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You don't need a saddle for this thing. It lets you ride it right away, so you don't need to worry about that. But eventually, what I think the buff is supposed to do, because this is what it said it does in the spotlight and stuff like that, right? It does not give you an oxygen buff, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to, the buff is supposed to make you be able to breathe longer underwater. At the time of saying this, that buff does not do that. However, they could very well fix that, or I could very well be getting my info wrong. I don't think I am, but there's always that possibility. But as of now, yeah, you don't really breathe super much longer with this thing underwater. But hopefully that changes, and it actually does make you a beast of the underwater, a beast of the deep. And this thing, I mean, it can go pretty deep, but once you start getting deeper and deeper, that's where the riskier things start happening and whatnot. I mean, realistically, that's all that the thing does. It doesn't have that much more going for it. It just helps you loot. It's supposed to help you breathe longer underwater, and that's actually, it looks cool, it's magical, but it's pretty useless because, I mean, it could be more useful, but the fact of the matter is you only get them for 30 minutes at a time, and then you have to always refine one, and they're not the easiest tame, as you can tell by the fact that he looks freaking mystical and magical, right? These things aren't supposed to be super common, so they're not really super common. So far, they've been relatively rare to find, and that's never good for, at least if you're trying to do rare stuff. So, yeah, that is the LIOPLEURODON. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are going to be going after one yourselves. Personally, I would say, I don't know. I don't think I'd be going out of my way for this unless I really, 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 really want that loot boost for 30 minutes. I mean, the only saving grace of it is that it's pretty easy to tame. Like, you do need, like, scuba gear to really stay underwater for that long and stuff. But once you do tame him, I mean, he takes really easy food. It's just giant honey. He's passive. He's not going to get pissy if you're passively taming him like some other people. And, yeah, so I think he could be worse. But he could be a lot better. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below what you guys are going to be doing about him. And he does the same animation when we kind of hurt him in the wild. He does the same animation whenever he dies or whenever his timer runs out. Same stuff happens. So if you are going to go out of your way to tame this one, what I will say is make sure you are very prepared to go get some loot and make this count, because it's just like, it's not even that it's a waste of honey. It just, to me, like a waste of time. But nonetheless, if you like cool dinos, definitely not a waste of time, because this thing, it's the only one with magical dust around it. And if you guys can see the magical dust around us, we kind of have that too. That's how you can tell someone has the mystic skin oil. You know, it's like magical massage oil. Something like that. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up for me. If you guys make sure you hit that like button. Let me know if you liked the video. And in the comment section, let me know if you will be I actually really want to get a good kind of survey of you guys. Will you guys be getting the LIOPLEURODON? Because let me know in the comments, because I'm actually really curious as to how many of you guys will go out of your way to get him when he's like, I don't know if he's worth it. You know, he could be more worth it, something like that. But, yeah, that's gonna wrap up for me. Have ourselves an amazing day. We will continue to cover the update. I think we just have to cover the tech tier. And then we will be back to our regularly scheduled ARK programming up until the new updates and until the update hits PS4, because then I'll probably cover all the stuff on PS4. But, yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Have yourselves a fan-freaking-tastic day, boyos and girlos. And I will talk to you in the next one. Goodbye, my friends.